3-eye atlas. What is it? Why are we talking about this on a channel that's all about magic and metaphysics? Why are we addressing this on Witchy Wednesday? Why is 3-eye atlas a part of the conversation for this podcast when we know that this podcast, this series, is all about the real God is not in the Bible? I'm going to connect all the dots for you in this conversation. And this conversation will not insult your intelligence. And this conversation is not to tell you what to think or what to do. And this will be a fact-based conversation because I'm a spiritual gal and I do understand that for spiritual people, if we do not ground in evidence, there could be a tendency to float off into woo-woo, could be a tendency to float off into frou-frou. And I desire to avoid that at all costs as a magical practitioner, as an occultist. An occultist wants to get to the truth, what's really going on. So an occultist will dig deep until we find that which is hidden. And some people would call occultists conspiracy theorists. Well, guess what? I found that all conspiracy theories, most of them anyway, the ones that I have deeply examined, have some kernel seed truth at their core. So I do not think it wise to out of hand dismiss things because we've just never seen it before, or out of hand think we know what something is even though we've never seen it before. So let's get into it about 3-eye atlas. And why we haven't heard from NASA yet. I have something about NASA that we've got to talk about, and what dates to look out for, because we're not done with 3-eye atlas. The party's just beginning. The party began on July 1st, and we're going to be in this party all the way until March of 2026, with an important date coming up in October. This is October of 2025 as I'm speaking this to you. Wednesday, October 15th. And so we have some dates that we must pay close attention to coming up. All right, let's chat with the family. How you loving? How you loving? How you loving? If you are brand new here, I am Reverend Valerie Love. We do this every Wednesday night at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. And I have been doing Witchy Wednesday for years. And we call it Witchy Wednesday because I'm a witch and we love magic around here. We love magic around here. And I am the founder of the Christian Witches Mystery School, which we meet tonight. And by the way, let me go ahead. I had the inspiration earlier and I didn't do it yet. I'm going to do it right now. Let me go ahead and turn on for you free trials of the Mystery School, because if you desire to join us in the Mystery School, we can get you a free trial. So let me go ahead, and I got the inspiration to do that before, and join in our occult discussions. And as with all mystery schools, what is the point of a mystery school? The point of a mystery school is for you to do the deep spiritual work, to ask the questions that no one else answers, so that you liberate yourself. You practice magic and witchcraft without fear, and you become God. That's the point of a mystery school. You become God. Okay? Let me get you into the mystery school at no charge. You can try it for 7 days. If it's for you, keep going. If it's not for you, oh good. We love that. And that way you will be able to join in on our conversation tonight. Hold on, let me turn on free trials. Give me one moment and I'm going to flip a switch. That's all it is. Give members a 7-day free trial. Boom. There you go. Now, let me give you the link to the Mystery School. So if you want to pop in tonight on our discussion, we are deep in the discussion of the tarot. And tonight, the tarot for occultists, tarot for Christian witches, tarot for expansion of your consciousness. We're not just talking tarot. That's not what we do in the Mystery School. Okay? Hold on. Let me get you the link, and then we're going to dive into 3-eye atlas. What is really going on, 3-eye atlas? I'm so happy you're here. I am so happy you're here. Okay, let's get you a link to the Mystery School. If you love it, we have incredible occultists in the Mystery School. We have incredible teachers in the Mystery School. We desire everyone to step up to the plate and be a magnificent being in the Mystery School. So that's what the Mystery School is all about. Hold on, coming up, coming up. Three Eye Atlas. Let me give you a link. Let me give you the link. If you love it, hop in. No charge. No charge because we know how badass we are. And you get access to all of the replays for 7 days. Get it while it getting's good. After that, you got to make a choice. Either you're going to hang with us or we thank you for being with us. That's fair, right? That's fair. Love you, love you, love you. Let's look at discerning spirituality. How you loving? All right, KAISI. Hi, discerning spirituality. How you loving? The other day, I saw a strange phenomena in the night sky. It was disc-shaped and misty. I wish I could have gotten a better picture, but it was grainy. Yes, yes. I've got to say, yeah, send it to me. Absolutely, send it to me on email. My email is below in all my videos. Family, we are living in incredible times. We are living in amazing times. Oh my goodness, we're living in amazing times. We are living in the most amazing times of we may make contact in your lifetime. That means the people of Roswell, the people of of ancient world, the people who we've been talking about, the people in the Bible will finally get their comeuppance. All the people who have experienced contact will finally get their comeuppance because we may be the generation that makes contact. And this makes me very happy. It makes me very happy. Let's go. Let's go, family. We're going to go on screen share and feel free to super chat your questions as I go along. This will be somewhat of a more technical conversation, yet I'm always going to make it simple. I'm always going to make it simple. Present. I'm always going to make it simple. Because what I know is that if a person can't explain something simply, they don't know it themselves. So I'm always going to keep it simple. What is the purpose of this series? If you've never been here before, if this is the first time you are seeing this crazy witch lady on YouTube ever, this is the purpose. And you hear me talk about the real God is not in the Bible. The Bible's not about God. The Bible's not from God. The Bible is not inspired by God. The Bible is humanity's library. The Bible is written by humans for other humans. And most of the humans that are reading the Bible and think it pertains to them are not even the humans that the Bible was being written for. And the Bible is a collection of books that have been written over a span of probably thousands of years because we're still writing the Bible now. And it was written by people strewn across the world, many of whom we do not know. We don't even know who wrote it. And we don't have the originals of the Bible, and we don't have copies of the originals of the Bible, and we don't have copies of the originals of the Bible. So you can see we're far removed from the source. So why would you think that this book came from the source? It didn't. It did not. And we want to relieve everyone of the heavy yoke of believing that the Bible is from God and fighting over it. And we desire peace on earth and goodwill among all people. All people. All people, all people, all people. We stop the fighting. Ronald Reagan was right. If we looked up in the sky and something was coming to us, we would automatically all unite so that we could handle what was coming at us. But we're on this rock fighting back and forth and keeping wars going no matter what. This conscious, let me come off screen share for a moment before we go into Three Eye Atlas, my disclaimer, the details of Three Eye Atlas and why we're even talking about Three Eye Atlas. Let me come off screen share for one moment. And this is a call to all of the light workers, the witches, the shamans, the way showers, the healers, the torch bearers, all of those who are called to serve humanity. It's time for you to stand up and bring all your gifts, all your power, all your love to this community, this global family, because the people on this rock, some of us are still in the lowest vibration consciousness. We're still down there in the war, lowest vibration fighting consciousness, which is nothing but ego consciousness. And all the light workers, all the way showers, all the torchbearers, you, all those who are truth tellers, rise up. And as we all meditate, as we chant, as we do our yoga, as we do our magic, as we do our spiritual practices, we are raising the vibration of this entire planet, and we are raising it up so high that war becomes impossible. We are raising the vibration so high that we come into oneness that fighting would be impossible. We raise the vibration and consciousness, the vibratory field of this consciousness, the field, the thoughtosphere of this consciousness will vibrate at such that it would be impossible for someone to run in with a gun and shoot up a bunch of people. See, we're still way down here. We're down here, just pow, 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 like we're in a video game. Like we're in a video game, snipering people. Oh my God. Do we understand that is the lowest consciousness, the lowest vibration of me against you is the height of ego? Well, just let the ego win. And what is the ego? Nothing but a belief that we are separate from our source and separate from each other. That's the ego. That's all it is. It's just separation. That's all it is. Separation. And why? Why is it that the ego has us in separation? Because when you're born into a body, you must have an ego because you've got to know that your arm is here and someone else's arm is there. So you don't go on the bus and sit on a stranger's lap. Now, if they want you to sit on their lap and you want to sit on their lap, go for it. I'm talking about we don't comport ourselves as if we're one when you're in a body, because you know that your body is here and this body is here. Yet we must remember that in consciousness, we're all one. What I do to you, I do to myself. What I cast out is coming back to me. We must understand the higher order truth that all of the yogis and the saints and the sages have been teaching us for the longest. Every religion has it. Christians say, you reap what you sow, Galatians, or is it Ephesians? The Eastern religions say karma, what you do, you're gonna meet it again. In spirituality, we say everything is a mirror. What you are looking at is yourself. All of the spiritual traditions tell you that everything is in your consciousness. Trump is in your consciousness. But no, we believe he's an other. There is no other. Say it with me. Put it in the chat. There is no other. There is no other. We are all one in consciousness. Put it in the chat. One. It's one, not two. One. Still stuck in the polarity and the duality down here. Just pinging back and forth. People, whatever got solved in the polarity and the duality, nothing. That's the low vibration that we're looking at on this consciousness, that when the higher order beings show up, I hope they're more advanced than us, consciousness wise. When the higher order beings show up, guess what? We're going to shoot them. We're going to get, the first thing we're going to do is our military is going to get out the guns. That's the first thing we're going to do. Why? Why isn't the first thing, hey, let's just have a conversation, find out what the beings are. Let's discover first, ask questions, and shoot last. We going first to the gun. That's the consciousness of this planet. And what I am offering is that we are empowered to change that. Wake up in the morning with a oneness consciousness of peace, bliss, beauty, harmony with the infinite source, which is consciousness. It's not a person. And you get this from meditation. You get this from turning within. You get this from your spiritual practices. You get this from evolving your consciousness. And you will begin to see, wow, everything I've done to myself. It's coming back at me. Everything I'm saying that I see in someone else is actually me just talking about me. Because if I spot it, I got it. Because that's the filter I'm wearing from which I'm looking at the world. I'm looking at the world with a filter on, and I'm wondering why the world is blue. And I'm convincing other people the world is blue. That's because I have on blue glasses. The world ain't blue, boo. You take off your blue glasses. The world is not blue. The world is whatever you say it is. I'm in Malaysia. How you loving? How you loving? How you loving? Come on in. I travel the world. I invite you to travel the world with us. It's at my website, valerielove.com. I'm currently in Malaysia. This morning, what did I awaken to? Like 5 in the morning. The call to prayer, our Islamic brothers and sisters are right over there praying. I hear them 5 times a day. 5 times a day. I'm like, oh, thank you. Somebody's praying. Christians, Christians, where are you going to get with that attitude? Well, they're not praying to God. And you are. Wow. That's down here, way down here. And religion is helping us stay down here. It's helping with the divide. Drop your shackles. You can still be a Christian and be in oneness. You can still be Islamic and be in oneness. You can be a Buddhist and be in oneness. You can be no religion. You can be an atheist and agnostic and be in oneness. Come home to your true self, your true God self. Your true God self is infinite source, consciousness, pure energy that is unbounded in any way and certainly not bound to a body. I love you. Mwah. Now let's continue with 3i Atlas. That's a message right there. Whoever want to pick it up, you're going to pick it up. Pick it up, you won't pick it up. Let's talk about 3i Atlas. I want to give this disclaimer. I'm not a scientist or an astrophysicist or an astronomer. Therefore, I will take a multidisciplinary approach to learn all about 3i Atlas, which is what I have done with everything that I'm seeking to learn about, without leaving hard to accept theories off the table. Certain things are outside of our purview. Certain things are outside of what we want to accept. So we leave them off the table. I don't leave those things off the table. I leave things on the table until we can safely eliminate them from being on the table through data and evidence. I take a multidisciplinary approach. What does that mean? That I will listen to the scientists, including astronomers, physicists. What are they saying? They have true expertise in the subject matter. So I will absolutely listen to the scientists, and I will listen to different scientists. Then, what are the conspiracy theorists saying? I like to listen to the conspiracy theorists because David Icke told us before COVID ever started exactly what it was. He nailed that entire thing before it even started. Nailed it. But they took down his video because his video called them out so badly. David Icke, I watched David Icke and some parts I had to rewind because the man had done his research, and the man whom they would call a conspiracy theorist went down the rabbit hole that other people were not willing to go down, and came back dusty and said, hey guys, this is what it is. The man had facts, data, figures, went down the entire list, and everything David Icke said in that video was 100% facts. It was facts. But he was called a conspiracy theorist, and later on we came around and saw that Fauci, the god of COVID, I didn't believe one thing that little man said. I kept saying to myself, why doesn't this man go home and just have a nice time with his grandkids? This man is over here telling the whole world to get a jab. You ought to know something was suspicious about that. And the conspiracy theorists were talking, and they were like, maybe we shouldn't all get an experimental jab. Maybe we should have random controlled studies. Maybe we shouldn't just pass all this stuff through and just give it to the whole population, and we have no idea what this thing is going to do to people. Yes, it's a wonderful invention. Should we do this? Should we do this? They were called anti-vaxxers because they have weaponized language. And you don't want to be called an anti-vaxxer. So therefore, you comply. See how powerful words are? You comply. And whether you complied or didn't comply, that's not my point. I'm not for vaccines or against vaccines. Do whatever you think you should do with your body. That's where I am. And I'm going to do whatever I know I should do with my body. The point is the coercion, the gaslighting, the propaganda pushing, the conspiracy theorists had already called that out. So therefore, if we want to not listen to the conspiracy theorists, I'm not with that because the conspiracy theorists, they might not have the entire story correct. David Icke is an exception because he have the entire story correct. You can't even find the video on YouTube. You have to go to the other parts of the web where we look at things that the big tech companies withhold from you because the government told them to do so. So yeah, we have government sponsored stuff too. If you think we don't have government sponsored stuff, then if you look at all the tech companies, if you look at the web through the lens of the Western world, it's a very different internet even than the China internet. And that's still a very different internet from the actual free people internet. Okay, called the dark web. They had to give it some names that anyway. I mean, we're not talking about the dark web right now, but you can find it. If you want to find it, you can find it. And the conspiracy theories, we can't take them off the table either. Okay, now what is the spiritual people saying about Three Eye Atlas? We can't dismiss what they're saying either. Like, what are the astrologers saying? So we have some spiritual people, we have mediums, we have people who are light bringers on this planet. They're telling us certain things about Three Eye Atlas, and because we don't fucking know what Three Eye Atlas is, we ought to be open to all the possibilities of what this thing is. And not automatically say, no, which I'm seeing some scientists do, and it's really concerning. It's concerning because we got this big thing hurtling through our solar system, and we got people acting like close-minded, even as they're looking at something that they don't know what they're looking at, yet they insist on calling it a comet. We'll get into that in a moment. What are the astrologers saying? Stay to the end because I have an astrologer to show you. Oh my goodness, he blew my mind about Three Eye Atlas. See, you need to look at this thing from a multidisciplinary approach because people get stuck in a rut in their own little lane. Well, I'm an astrophysicist. I never come out of my laboratory, and it's a comet. Well, does it have a tail like a comet? No, but it's a comet. Does it act like all the comets we've seen? No, but it's a comet. Okay. What is the government saying? I'll answer that now. Nothing. And I'll tell you why. Hang with me in this conversation. I'm going to put the puzzle pieces together, and I would tell you why NASA has not said anything. When I say nothing, I mean you got zero. You got donut. They said nothing. Like, what in the world is that about? Nothing. Let's continue. So, what is it? What is Three Eye Atlas? It is the third interstellar object to enter our solar system and has been referred to as an interstellar interloper. I love that. It's poetic. It's a visitor that came from outside of our solar system. Now, where outside of our solar system? Not quite sure about that. So right away, your spidey senses, I'm not saying go into high alert and be in fear. That's not what I'm saying. Give attention, because those who do not give attention will be forced to pay attention. So I simply give attention to the things that Spirit puts in front of me, and Spirit put this in front of me, like, talk about it. I'm like, oh my God. I wasn't paying attention to Three Eye Atlas until just a couple of weeks ago. Three Eye Atlas has been with us since July 1st. I wasn't thinking about no Three Eye Atlas. Spirit said, give attention. Oh, wait a minute. Let me dust off my eyes and open my eyes and look up in the sky. I ain't got no telescope. I need to visit all my friends that live in Arizona and all the places where there's no light pollution. And I need to get and look up to these telescopes and start looking up because something's coming. Okay. And when I say something's coming, I don't mean it's coming to Earth, but we don't really know that yet either. We don't know. I'll tell you what we do know thus far. And why is it called 3I slash Atlas? Because this is the third object that has been observed in our sky. And that's the three. And there's an I. I means it's interstellar. It came from outside our solar system. And Atlas is for where it was first sighted by the Atlas telescope in Chile on July 1st of 2025. So you know how they name things according to like people who find them in space and different things like that, and on Earth too. And so the first interstellar object was One Eye Oumuamua. And One Eye Oumuamua was very fascinating. And there are some people that are still convinced that One Eye Oumuamua was not a natural phenomenon. And we'll talk about One Eye Oumuamua another time because that one was quite strange too. Now that one came in 2017. Okay, then the second one came, which is 2I Borisov, and 2 is second interstellar object. I, interstellar. Borisov was the person who first saw it. 2I Borisov came in 2019. So now we have three interstellar interlopers, 3 visitors from outside our solar system since 2017. That ought to make you say, what are these objects doing? What's happening? That's what it made me say. What's happening? It didn't make me get suspicious. It caused me to become curious. I choose curious over suspicious because suspicious starts to guard and be afraid and not want to peer into what's beyond. I'm curious. And I have no reason to believe that all the aliens want to do is kill us, because if they wanted to do that, they would have already done it. Now, why are we talking about this interstellar interloper when this is a spirituality channel and we talk about magic and we talk about metaphysics and we talk about money too? Magic, money, and metaphysics. I've been talking about that for 16 years here on YouTube. So why are we talking about this strange? This is not a sci-fi channel, and this is not an astronomy channel. This is not an astrology channel. This is a spirituality channel, and we focus on magic and mysticism, occult studies, and witchcraft. So why are we talking about 3I Atlas? I'll tell you in a moment. First, I want you to look at these pictures for yourself, snapped of 3I Atlas. Now, I want you to look at these pictures, and let's look at these pictures. Now, those are pictures of 3I Atlas, and they tell us that 3I Atlas is a comet. So what did I do? I pulled up pictures of comets. What do you notice about these comets? Baby, this is just a regular woman who is not a scientist, who just has good common sense and extremely good critical thinking skills and a brain, and I'm willing to do it, and I'm willing to read, and I'm willing to learn hard things, and I'm willing to research. That's just what I am. And so I came and said, well, what does a comet look like? And most of us know a comet looks like this thing with a really long tail. These are comets. Now let's go back to 3I Atlas. Do you see a tail? Do you see a tail? Just you tell me. We're just looking at this thing. Okay. Do we see this long plume, beautiful tail that every comet we've ever heard of or have ever seen in our solar system has this long, unmistakable plume behind it, which is a combination of chemical reactions, the composition of the rock itself, and its interaction with the sun, the solar winds, our solar system, gravity, all of that works together to create that long, beautiful plume, tail. Do you see a tail? Now, I'm a regular woman, super smart, super intelligent, and super curious. Don't put those together. Super and super willing to go down rabbit holes. Don't put those together because you get a dangerous person that's going to get to the truth. Do you see a tail? So that was my first thing. I was like, well, this thing doesn't look like a comet, but they keep saying comet, three eye atlas. Three eye atlas is a comma. You ought to say to yourself, someone's lying, someone's gaslighting, or someone's, which it would be on the nefarious intention side. I don't jump straight to people have nefarious intentions. Maybe they do, maybe they don't, but I don't know what people's intentions are. No one does. Only you know what your true intention is deep within yourself. It will become manifest over time if we keep watching. Yet we cannot say what someone else's intention is. Or they're guessing. Or they're afraid because it's something that they've never seen before and they just want to classify it as a comment so they don't raise any suspicion. It's a comment. This thing is clearly not a comment. Like, I believe humans are adult enough to be able to receive the truth. People may not believe that, yet these are facts. The truth is coming to everyone, whether they like it or not. Now, why are we talking about it? Because Three Eye Atlas, and really, it's always been this way. There is a convergence of these seven factors. There's a convergence of astronomy and astrology, of spirituality and otherworldly gifts, because the NASA has been using, not NASA, the CIA, actually NASA as well, NASA and the CIA have been using the gifts of people. Some would call them spiritual gifts. You could call them otherworldly gifts. You could call them gifts we don't understand, psychic abilities, remote viewing. The intelligence agencies of this world have been using remote viewers for the longest time. That's how we know what's on the other side of the moon, because it is very suspicious that the moon only shows us one side all the time. What's that about? That's interesting. And I'm going down that rabbit hole, so more will come up soon because we do a lot of moon rituals. So there is a convergence also of spirituality, otherworldly gifts, because the scientists turn to people with otherworldly gifts to give them more information. Multidimensional beings or entities are also connected to this conversation. Could it be angels, demons, gods, goddesses, fairies? Uh, What are all of these otherworldly beings that he's been talking about for thousands of years, tens of thousands of years? And before we had written record, they could have been talking about this for hundreds of thousands of years, that we've been talking about contact with beings that were not human. You can still have those contacts right now. If you go to ayahuasca and you lay down and you drink some ayahuasca, drink enough, you are going to come into contact with some beings. And this is from multiple thousands upon thousands upon thousands of people who have had experiences with ayahuasca. We also have a convergence with all of this of our spacefaring neighbors who may not be multidimensional beings, even though I do believe that they can absolutely communicate far more on a psychic level than many of us. Yet they're still flesh and blood, like the Anunnaki and like many aliens that people have had contact with, like the school that was over in Africa where the aliens actually got out. And many of the school children saw these aliens actually get out of the vehicle that they were in, the transport. I'll call it a transport because we don't know if it's a ship. We don't know what it is. It's means of transport. What's also converging with this are the ancient sites of the world, such as Egypt, which I've been to, and we invite you to with us. In the fall of 2026, we will be returning to Egypt, Magic and Manifestation in Egypt, to examine and explore the ancient sites. And we take you up inside of the pyramid so you can determine for yourself what this thing is. Clearly not a tomb. Teotihuacan, which I have been to Teotihuacan, also an ancient city. Who built this ancient city? Chichen Itza, Gobekli Tepe. I think I might have spelled that wrong. Karahan Tepe, Machu Picchu, I might have spelled that one wrong too. These, I might have to correct my spelling on this. These ancient sites are connected with this whole puzzle piece we're putting together. So I'm giving you multiple pieces of the puzzle, and there's more puzzle pieces than this. I'm sharing with you some of the ones that I've seen. This is all connected. Unexplained phenomena like Three Eye Atlas, like One Eye Oumuamua is unexplained. Unexplained phenomena like people who can move things with their mind. It's unexplained. We do not know the full mechanism behind that or even the physics behind it, because our physics that we currently have doesn't allow for you to be able to move something with your mind that's across the room, yet people do it. Our mind doesn't, our current physics does not allow for you to be able to move fire with your palm, yet we see people do it all the time in fireworkers with candles and candle magic. Our physics does not have the explanation for that. It's, as a matter of fact, it says you shouldn't be able to do that. That's how limited our physics is. And I want you to know that what we have discovered already is probably not even 0.0001 of what could be discovered. Of the entire universe, what we know is probably point zero. I don't even think we know a tenth of 1%. I think we know 0.001% of this whole thing that we're in. That's what I think. It's just a hunch. Now, before I go any further, let me say something about development of your psychic abilities. And I know you're going to say, I know you're going to say, what? Why are we talking about psychic abilities when it comes to Oumuamua and Three Eye Atlas? Let's talk about this. Why is it so hard for you to develop your psychic abilities? Why is it so challenging for you to just go within your mind, see the future, to go within your mind, see the past, to go within your mind, see all of your past lives, to go within your mind and communicate with someone on the other side? Most of the time, we do it under duress, or we do it when we have to, or many of us have learned to harness enough of our psychic powers to be able to call our children out of a crowd. I used to use my psychic powers for that all the time. I still use it. I use it just now for my grandkids. I would be someplace, and let's say we're at some big park or whatever, and they're not lost. We're just not together because they went to ride on that ride. We're going to meet up later, whatever. And I would just stand in a crowd and I would just mentally say my child's name over and over again. Corey, Corey, Corey. I just did this like a couple of weeks ago. We were at some big thing and I didn't know where Corey was and I was ready to find Corey. And I just did Corey, Corey. And next thing you know, Corey was like this. Like, we all know that people you're close to, you're psychically connected. We all know this. You can call them now psychically. You can have all kinds of conversations with them psychically. It's called telepathy and it's real. Science wants to tell you, oh, it's not real. Oh, unproven. Okay. Why don't they just say, we have yet to discover the mechanism by which telepathy works, yet we're willing to explore? And some scientists are saying that, like Rupert Sheldrake. Rupert Sheldrake found out that dogs are so psychic, which we know dogs and cats are psychic. We all know this. If you have a dog or a cat, you know they're psychic. You know they're psychic. You know they're seeing things that we can't see. I mean, dogs hear things we can't hear. Why is this so weird to think that they can see things that we can't see? But it's acceptable that they can hear things we can't hear because we can measure it with our little instruments, and we only believe things that we can measure with our little instruments. But why I want to talk to you about your psychic powers. Why is it so hard for you to develop your psychic powers? It is according to design. It's by design. Because if you had a whole world full of people who were completely in touch with their psychic powers, and you could do remote viewing, and you could do telepathy with any person on the planet you wanted to at any time, and we would all be superhuman gods, and no one would be able to control anyone at any time, and the governments would cease to exist because everyone would be in their superhuman self. Well, you have that capability, and the higher ups, I don't even want to call them higher ups because I do believe these people are lower in intelligence than a lot of people watching this video. The people who are the control mongers of humanity, the puppeteers of humanity, do not want you to come into your full power. That should be obvious. They do not want you to come into your full power, because if you came into your full power mentally, emotionally, spiritually, all your powers were activated, there'd be nothing they could do with you. You would be an unstoppable God. There'd be nothing they could do with you. And they can't have that. So what do? They continue to, now don't think that the behavioral scientists don't know this, because they study ways to keep you dumbed down and continue to use these to keep you dumbed down. They start in school. Why do you have to sit in a chair all day? When kids are known not to sit in chairs, and they make the kids sit in the chairs. And then if you don't sit in a chair all day, they call you AD and ADD, ADHD. Do you know there's no such thing as ADD and ADHD? They made that shit up. And I don't want to offend anyone who thinks they have it. They made that shit up. And why did they make it up? Because you think differently. Maybe you can hold 10 ideas in your mind at the same time. That's not a diagnosis, that's a gift. There's nothing wrong with that. And you may say, well, it's making my life worse. Perhaps, like all gifts, you have to learn how to use your gifts. This is not something to medicate away. They made that shit up. Okay, so let's go further. So if you didn't sit in a chair as a child in school, which who wanted to fucking sit in a chair all day and hear useless information that had nothing to do with your life? It's all a distraction. They weren't teaching you how to focus and lift this block with your mind. They were saying, here, play with these blocks. Well, you probably could have lifted the block with your mind. But they don't believe in that, so they're not going to tell you to believe in it. And so you can see that humanity has been stopgapped by limitations that are not even real. You could throw off all those limitations and start developing your spidey senses, your superhuman senses, your beyond senses. They also trained you to be in a cog in the machine. That's what they trained you to do, to be a cog in the machine. So we need you to go to school. Then we need you to graduate from elementary school, and we've conditioned you. And then we need you to go to middle school. And then we condition you some more. And then we need you to go to high school, and we condition you some more. And by the time you get to high school, now we need to take you to college so you can get in a ton of debt. So you can never be free of the system, because we're going to load you up with about 6 figures of debt. And then once you finish college and get all your papers, they're going to give you papers at the end of it. Think about this. They charged you 6 figures or multiple 6 figures, and they gave you papers at the end. And they made you spend 4 years of your life doing all kinds of God knows what. None of it was to develop your spidey senses and your superhuman powers and abilities. None of it. Then they want you to go and get a job where you will be paid less than you are worth for 30 years. Think about the deal. Think about the deal they're giving you. Think about the deal they're giving you. And you know, Carla, what I love about this conversation is I also think autism is a gift. I think it's gifts. I think people who are autistic are more advanced than us. I think it's an advanced way of their brain working that we don't understand. But because we don't understand it, we call it something wrong with it. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I really don't. Because how could there be anything wrong with how you are born? How could there be anything inherently wrong with someone? It's just a faulty premise that we have. And so we have this whole idea that you got to go to a doctor and you got to get a diagnosis, what's wrong with me, and then they're going to give you a pill to get you out of that thing so we can get you acting normal like the rest of the herd. Maybe we ought to take a different approach and open to the different potentialities that people have. Maybe. And then help them work with their gifts, wherever those gifts may be, but not in a world where people keep telling them something's wrong with them. Okay, let's go further. So, because this is by design that you have not yet advanced into your spidey gifts, all your psychic abilities and psychic powers. And now after you have your job, they throw social media at you so you can keep scrolling and scramble your brain and give your brain dopamine hits every 10 seconds so that you seek more dopamine, and you need to be on social media even more because it's an addiction. And I'm not saying that everyone who's on social media is addicted. I'm on social media right now talking to you through social media. I'm saying use it and not be used by it. Because that's what a master does. A master goes in and uses it according to intention and is not beholden to it, is not addicted to it, their life is not run by it. They use it to their own design and intention, because that's what powerful people do. And I desire everyone that I talk to be powerful and fully activated in your God self, because that's just going to be a better life for my grandkids. Yeah, I'm selfish in that. I just want a better world for my grandkids and my great grandkids. I want them to grow up in a world where somebody doesn't run into a place and shoot up everybody. Call me crazy. That I want them to be in a world where we don't have to think somebody could run in here right now and shoot up everybody. Wow. Wow. Let's continue. Let's continue. And I don't want to do it by means of the way control, right? Yes. Okay, Carla can tell us because Carla has true experience with this. Yes, autism is a gift. My son is so smart and is better off the meds. Boom, there you have it. But the doctors are in this limited, contracted, one-dimensional way of looking at everyone and everything. If it doesn't fit on the chart, something's wrong with it. There's nothing wrong with it. How about we examine? How about we learn? How about we grow and start to accept things that are outside of our known? 3-Eye Atlas. Here's what we can count on. We can count on mainstream science gaslighting us and telling us it's never aliens. No matter how unreasonable that stance is, we can count on it. I'm not saying 3-Eye Atlas is aliens. I'm saying we don't know what 3-Eye Atlas is, so all of the possibilities need to be on the table. Mainstream information peddlers who are feeding humanity what they want humanity to know will always reject the idea of aliens until they're standing on our front door. Not only do they have a knee-jerk, unreasonable repulsion to aliens, Neil deGrasse Tyson. Aliens? It's never aliens. I can assure you it's not aliens. They are quick to attempt to debunk and or disgrace anyone who does consider this possibility, like Avi Loeb. They are quick to debunk. And I mostly see men having these fights back and forth. That's what I mostly see. I don't see a lot of women having this fight back and forth, but I don't know, maybe it could be that a lot of the men, some of the men want to be the big dog, and you get to be the big dog, the alpha dog, by beating down the other dogs. I don't know, could be. But you see a lot of dudes getting into this fight. And I don't have a desire to fight. I have a desire to learn, to find out the truth, which we will do by data and observation and science, and using your spidey powers also. Okay, now, 3-Eye Atlas. I'm going to give you at least 14 anomalies that are present with 3-Eye Atlas, and then you tell me if this thing is a comet. First of all, the size. We have never seen anything this big hurtling through our solar system, the size of New York Island. It is twice the size of the comet that killed all the dinosaurs. If this thing flung into us, it's over, baby. It is OVA. It's over. Thank God it's not coming to us. If it did, you might as well say it's been nice. Where are you gonna be when it hits? I think I'm gonna be in Dubai. I think I'll go to Bali and just sit in the temple. You can pick. No, I don't think that's gonna happen. It's just a joke, people. Please don't run with this part of the video and say Reverend Val said at 3 Atlas is about to hit us. No, it's not. I'm saying that this thing is so ginormous. This thing is 1,000 times the size of Borisov. The other one that came through is 1,000 times that size and is 1,000,000 times the size of Oumuamua. Oumuamua was about the size of a football field. This thing is the size of New York. Whoa, that's weird. But it is way past comet size. This thing is ginormous. Okay, now that's interesting. Number two, this thing has nickel with no iron. What is that? What does that mean? I didn't know what that meant. I was like, okay, nickel without the presence of iron. The scientists were like, nickel without the presence of iron. What is that? I was like, okay, I don't know what that means. Here's what it means. Nickel and iron, because they're so close on the elemental table, one is 26, one is 28, they form together in natural processes of rocks. You'll always find nickel and iron together. And the only way that you will find nickel without iron is through some kind of industrial process. Like when we need nickel for our instrumentation, we take the nickel and the iron through some kind of industrial technological process, and then we can harvest the nickel without the iron. And so some scientists were saying, wait a minute, and mostly, and all the comets emit nickel and iron together. But now there's nickel, but no iron, which meant, did something make this thing? Because the only way we get nickel, now we're just operating on our own mind. Maybe there is a place in the universe outside of our solar system where nickel appears without iron. Could be. And could be. That's just one anomaly, but we got 14. But that's just one. Like, this thing is super weird. It's super weird. Okay. That makes you kind of wonder what's going on there. 3, it was spewing water like a fire hose long before it was supposed to. Comets are not supposed to spew out all that water until they get closer to the sun. Because what is a comet? A comet is a big block of ice, right? And a bunch of other rocks and stuff with it. So as it starts to get closer to the sun, of course you expect that it's going to spew water. This thing wasn't nowhere near the sun. It was spewing water like a fire hose. Spewing water way out, too far from our sun for what they call sublimation. And this thing is just spewing water. Well, that's weird. Okay. But there's more. CO2 to H2O ratios are inconsistent with other comets. Now, other comets has a CO2 to H2O ratio. They're all fitting into that same category. This one, the CO2 is off the charts. It doesn't match comets. Not the comets we know about, not the comets that are zipping through our solar system. There's comets zipping through our solar system right now. We know comets. That they're zipping past. We know asteroids, they're floating past. We know comets. This one does not have that same chemical composition of all the other comets. Okay, no deviation despite outgassing. This one was very strange to me. You know how outgassing, let me come off screen share for this for a moment, and let's just talk about this outgassing part of it. Because this is super, is this deep or not? I knew y'all would see it. I knew y'all would see it. I was like, oh, if I tell the love tubers about this, I knew y'all would see it. Do you know? Yes. What happened was discerning spirituality. This is such a good one. Someone is saying it did have iron, but not at enough quantities to other comets. That's very true. And guess what? At one point, it was emitting nickel with no iron. And then at another point, it emitted nickel with iron, which some people said Is this thing listening to us and is trying to act like a comet? And when we say something about it, that it's not a comet, it adjusts because the thing changes. The thing changes. Isn't that interesting? Okay, the thing changes. Now, let's talk about this outgassing from a normal comet. A normal comet, it's outgassing and it's throwing off gas, right? In all this thing that it's going through space. And the outgassing is acting like a thruster. So when it outgas, it's like it pushes the comet this way and pushes the comet that way and pushes the comet this way. This one doesn't change course even with the outgassing. The outgassing is not acting like a thruster to move it around. That's weird. Like this thing is doing all the things that comets don't do, and it's not doing things that comets do. So it's doing both. It's not doing things that comets do, and it's doing things that comets don't do. That's weird. Okay, let's continue. But that's not all. That even that could be uh interesting enough. I'm not saying what it is because I don't know what it is. Do you understand? Understand? Could Oumuamua be a scout ship to Three Eye Atlas? Good question. Because first we had Oumuamua, then we had Borisov, then we had Three Eye Atlas. And Oumuamua was very strange. Very strange. And I was looking at Oumuamua when they were talking about Oumuamua, and I was like, It made me go, And then it filed away. When Three Eye Atlas came out, I'm like, okay, no, we can't ignore this. We have to go down the rabbit hole of that. Okay? It's simply because of its mass. Absolutely. Which takes us back to the other anomaly. Why is this thing so huge? So the outgassing doesn't move it. Why? Not because it's a comet, or it is a comet, it's a comet or not a comet. It's not a comet because it's so ridiculously huge. It's the size of New York, according to some estimates. That makes me question it even more that the outgassing didn't move it because the thing is so huge. Why is this thing so huge? Okay, let's go for yay! Thank you so much. Order in the book because I'm putting this in the book too. It came just in time for me to be able to add this to the book because things are converging, family. Let's go back on screen share and let's talk about the rest of these anomalies. Let's talk about the rest of these anomalies. Let's keep going. And I'm not a suspicious person. I'm a curious person. I'm not a suspicious person. I'm curious. What is it? All right, let's go to number 6, the trajectory. Now, this one blew my mind. The other ones, okay, maybe it's just a super big rock. Okay, maybe it came from someplace where there's nickel without iron. Because this thing changes. Sometime at one point it had nickel with no iron. At one point it had not iron with nickel. Okay, maybe it's spewing water like a water hose, even though it's far from the sun and sublimation shouldn't be happening. Yet, okay, it's just weird. Okay, CO2. Okay, that's weird. Okay, it's outgassing, but it's not moving. Maybe we could just explain that away because it is big. We can just explain that away. 6 cannot be explained away, in my humble opinion. Here's 6, and I'm going to show you what it looks like. The trajectory, the course, its orbital alignment looks like design to me. It is when within 5 degrees of the ecliptic, a 1 in 500 chance that it is random. It is passing 3 planets close up. That is 1 in 20,000 chance that that is random. And it will be closest to the sun. This was the part that really made me sit up and take notice. It's going to be closest to the sun when it could take advantage of the sun's gravitational pull and do a maneuver like swing around or something like that, like we do. We do these things. We launch stuff into outer space. So why do we think no one else did it? To me, that's ludicrous. We did it. So why do we think, oh, no one else would do it? Here's the part that got me. That is going to be closest to the sun when we cannot see it. So we're going to be, the sun's going to be between us and it for a period. So when we come back out again from behind the sun, we hope this thing didn't change directions. I'm going to show you what this looks like because I pulled it up. We have to look at what it looks like. I can close that tab because I showed you the asteroids. We're not talking about NASA yet. Hold on. Let me get you exactly what this looks like because I pulled it up. Hold on. Here it is. Look at this. This is insane. Okay, where website is this? Hold on. Is this NASA's website? This is the skylive.com. So this gives you actual a complete guide to the solar system and the night sky. So what they have done here is they created the exact trajectory. We're going to play this, and you tell me what this looks like to you. I'm not telling you what to think. I think too much of you to tell you what to think. And I don't know the answers. So I'm not telling you I have the answers either. I'm telling you I am observing all the phenomena that is present before I reach a conclusion. I will tell you my initial conclusion at the end, but I have not reached a final conclusion about this thing. And I do know one thing, it's not a comet. Look at this. Now, I told you it's going to be with us until March of 2026. Look at this thing. It gives you a watch right here. It only takes you 30 something seconds to look at what this thing is doing. Let's play this. Here's how it's moving. Now, here's us. Here's Earth. Look how this thing is moving. It's moving on a straight fucking line. How in the world? Okay, it came super close to Mars. Hey, Mars. It can now connect with Venus. Hey, Venus. Looked like it dipped down a little bit enough to be able to see Venus. And then, wait a minute. It's going to come close to Jupiter. Now, if you were a civilization that wanted to check our solar system, it's coming super close to 3 planets. That is not random. This trajectory is not random. That's why I believe NASA is not saying anything about it, because I think they know. Not I think they know. I know they know. And I'll tell you how I know they know in a moment. But let's look at this again. I want to show you something very important. Look at the date here. Okay, here's the dates. And look at when it's going to get close to, when it's going to achieve what's called perihelion. Hold on. Boom. Do you see right here, October 17th? Pretty soon, we're not going to be able to see it. Hold on, let me see if I can make this bigger for you. Pretty soon, we're not going to be able to see it because we're going to be on this side of the sun and it's going to be on the other. So we hope, right? We hope later this month, because everything's moving all the time, right? When we come from outside, when this thing comes from behind the sun again, and we can see it again because we're moving and it's moving and the sun's moving, everything's moving. So at some point, we will not be able to see it. That was interesting. Why would it calculate a trajectory that it has not deviated from not one bit? It has not deviated from that trajectory, not one bit, not with the outgassing, not with the solar winds when it entered the solar system. It has not deviated from that course, not one bit. That don't sound like a comet to me. It sounds like a course that you map into by intelligence and by design of people that have far more advanced knowledge of our solar system even than we do. And it sounded like the Anunnaki to me. I'll just be honest with you. This looks very Anunnaki-ish to me. Because they've been doing shit like this for hundreds of thousands of years. But we didn't want to listen, right? We didn't want to listen. So they're making it, they're listening to us and they're making it look like something that we're expecting to see. They're hoping that they can convince us that it's a comet. Okay. Now, so when do we need to pay attention? I'll give you the date that we need to pay close attention to. And let me give you this link. Let me drop this link in the chat because I want you to just go ahead. I want you to go ahead and look at, and you tell me what you see. You tell me. But we have not finished with the anomalies yet. It's not over yet. It is not over yet. That is exactly what I thought. Hammer, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. When it passes Jupiter, Juno will be able to get good pictures of it. However, it passed close to Mars 2 weeks ago, and we don't have the pictures. NASA took the pictures. We don't have them. Now, I'm not saying why we don't have them. And NASA, from this satellites around Mars and the Mars rover, yet the Mars rover cannot take as good a picture of it as the satellites around Mars could. NASA has high definition photos of 3I Atlas that were snapped when 3I Atlas was in 29 million kilometers of the moon, or when it was close to the moon. Not the moon, Mars. We do not have the pictures yet. And as we'll show you in a moment, how convenient that the government shut down. How convenient that the government shut down. Yes, that's right, Tia Emmer. The government shut down. That's interesting. I'm not saying that it's a conspiracy. I'm saying that there's no such thing as coincidence in my world and that things are connected. And I'm an occultist. I'm always looking for the connecting. What connect the dots? What is actually going on? And even though the government is shut down, NASA ain't shut down. And even if NASA was starting to, that's what they claim, right? T. Hammer, that's what they claim. Even if NASA was wanting to analyze the pictures, they need to give it the photos. They need to give the photos to their analysts. And the analysts then say that. Say, hey, taxpayers that paid for this satellite up here, yes, we got high resolution photos of this object. And we are now analyzing them. Hey, public, we are now analyzing them. And they will be released on December 1st. It doesn't matter when they would be released to me. Now, to some people, it would be concerned. I wouldn't be concerned if they said, we're analyzing the, I'm not, like I said, I'm not suspicious. I'm curious. So if they said, we have them, they didn't even say we have them. The Europeans had to tell us about what our government had done. The Europeans said, oh, yeah, your satellite took the pictures. Because the Europeans have satellites too. But the best pictures are the NASA pictures. And NASA, what, we got radio silence? Nothing? Oh, they think we're dumb. They're probably behind the rooms like, what in the world do we do? They got the close-up picture of this thing. Oh, damn, this thing is not a comet. Oh, damn, this is the end of the world. They're probably running around trying to figure out what to do in their rooms over there. Because otherwise they would have just sent us a picture. Hey guys, it's a comet. Relax, it's a comet. See a big long tail. So we've conclusively ruled it is a comet. The absence of information is what causes suspicion among the populace, because then it leaves room for people to come up with conspiracy theories. And you cannot debunk the conspiracy theories because we have blackout radio silence from NASA. Do you understand that in the void of just truth, other things can be created that are not truth? And we can't debunk them because we don't know. That's suspicious. That's very suspicious. Right, T Hammer? And look, T Hammer, you are right, you are tracking right with me because now NASA has been turned into a spy agency, but we're going to get into that in a moment. So it makes sense what's happening. And when did NASA get turned into a spy agency? Well, look at the date. All we want to do is just put things together. And sometimes when I listen to myself, I think to myself, am I a conspiracy theorist? Did I turn into a conspiracy theorist? I'm just asking questions. I'm just asking questions, right? Gaslighting. I'm thinking it's gaslighting too. You tell me what y'all think. You're watching this video. Please tell me in the comments. I read all my comments. Please tell me in the comments. Just give me time because I have tons of comments. So I'll go through tons of comments. I do read my comments. I love reading my comments because to me, it feels like we're having a conversation. Please tell me what your thoughts are. You tell me your observations. But we haven't even gotten through all of the different. Okay, so you saw the trajectory of this thing. You could go look at the trajectory of this thing for yourself. You can see that this thing, this object, is riding along the plane of the ecliptic. Within 5 degrees, it's skimming in a straight line and it's on a set course, and it has not changed course, not 1 inch to the left or to the right. I mean, tiny variance. It has not changed course. It has not changed course, and it is so fixed in its course that we can even map its trajectory of where it's going. That's 1 in 500 chance that it's random, that it would be 5 degrees on the plane of the ecliptic and stay there. Does a comet stay on one fixed orbit? No, a comet is organic. A comet does not have a coded, predetermined trajectory that it can't veer from. Passing 3 planets, that it timed its path perfectly, that it's passing 3 planets, 1 in 20,000 chance that could happen randomly. 1 in 500 chance that it could happen randomly, that it's a random comet, randomly within 5 degrees of the ecliptic and stays there, skimming along right along the ecliptic, and randomly is passing 3 planets. If you wanted to put some, uh, I don't know what you would call it, little, let's say they have little bots and they release them. They could have released them on 3 planets and then they could spin around and we would never know because we'll be behind the sun when they hit perihelion. That's weird. We won't be able to see it. And we certainly can't stop it. All right, let's go further. We 14 anomalies, 14 weird things about AI Atlas. No tail. I showed you the pics. There's the big long flume. But wait a minute, plume behind it, like a comet. But wait a minute, even worse. Not only does it not have a tail, it has an anti-tail. It has something in front of it, a plume of scattered light toward the sun. I was watching Dr. Mayim Bialik the other day. She said it has headlights. That's a joke. She was talking to Avi Loeb. She said it has headlights. The tail is in front. Now let me say something about this. We know why a comet has a big plume, a big plume of tail at the end, because it's going across from the solar wind and it's blowing the stuff back. I mean, that makes sense. And an object moving that way and it's breaking up with all kinds of gas, right? This is a chemical process. It's also a mineral process because you see that the rock is breaking up. It's also a process of the ice melting. So you're going to get this long, beautiful plume behind it. Why is its plume is they're calling it an anti-tail. It's scattered light, but the light is toward the sun. That should be impossible. That should be impossible. That should be impossible. An anti-tail? That should be impossible. Okay, it changes color. You wake up in the morning and this thing is doing something different. One point it was red, another point it was glowing green when the amateur uh, astronomers, amateur astronomers, they are telling us more than our government is telling us. The amateur astrologers, astronomers with telescopes, powerful telescopes in their backyards, tons of eyes are on this thing. They told us the thing was green, changes color. Now it had unusually early and strong outgassing. Outgassing on a regular comet wouldn't happen until it was closer to the sun. This thing was outgassing way far away from the sun when it was spewing all that water every which way. Okay? But like I said, despite the outgassing, no deviation from course. Now, its brightness and coma cross section evolve in ways that differ from typical comets. And so the brightness and the coma, very different from other comets. And it has extreme negative polarization behavior. Because I did not know what that meant, I had to look it up. What is extreme negative polarization behavior? I asked the AI, it told me. Negative polarization refers to the behavior of scattered light's polarization being flipped relative to what simple scattering models might predict. Large or deep negative polarization often suggests particular kinds of dust grain structure or unusual surface coma particle properties. Okay, I looked it up some more. What is so special about interstellar polarization? This is what he's saying about the polarization. When light reflects off different particles of celestial objects with different metals in the composition, you get a polarization. That makes sense. The degree and direction of the polarization tells you the shape of those particles. This comet shows a polarization that we've never seen before. We've measured many of them over time. We've measured tons of comets, -2.77 and phase angle of 7 degrees and an inversion angle of 17 degrees. That's a measurement we've never seen anywhere in our solar system before or any comet we've measured. Wow. I don't have to be at MIT or have a degree in astrophysics to know that that's an anomaly. I don't need a physics degree to tell me that that is an anomaly. Money in the vortex, money in the vortex, money in the vortex. Love it. Woo-hoo. All right. Let's continue. Let's continue because we're going to wrap it up because I'll be at the mystery school soon. And you can join us in the mystery school tonight if you desire. 7-day free trial. Extreme. Okay, it's moving fast. This thing is moving unusually fast. It's moving 130,000 to 245,000 miles per hour. Wait a minute. This thing is ginormous and it is moving supremely fast. Like, I can't fathom something moving that fast. It's faster than a bullet. I can't imagine something that huge moving that fast. It is super fast. Okay, here's what I said. One or two anomalies, unusual, but still okay. All right. 3 to 4 anomalies. Wait a minute. Right? 5 plus anomalies. Okay, something's up, and we better find out what it is. 14 anomalies. Baby, drop everything. This thing is something. Like, I was okay with some of the things. Maybe it's outside of our solar system. We never saw it before. That trajectory thing, it had me, it tipped me over too. Certain things about 3i Atlas have now tipped me over more in the direction of what Avi Loeb is saying. Could there be intelligence behind this? I am not saying that there is intelligence behind it. I am asking, could there be intelligence behind it? Because Avi Loeb is saying, well, prepare yourself, because if it is intelligence behind it, we need to have an appropriate response. To me, in the face of everything that we are talking about, that sounds very reasonable to me. I want you to come with us to Egypt. I want you to come with us to Bali. We got to pay the bills around here, right? So we got to do some promo. I want you to come to Egypt with us. I want you to come to Bali with us in 2026. I want you to get the book. If you are a member of the YouTube channel, please do become a member of the YouTube channel. If you're a member of the YouTube channel, you receive my books as a gift. And we love that. And it helps the channel grow and expand and do more amazing things for you. All right. Thank you. If you have my book, How to Be a Christian Witch, please pick it up and please leave a review. And if you have spell crafting for the Christian Witch, we absolutely love that. And several more of my books. And soon we have just been creating a course, and it is going to hit you on Samhain on October 31st. The course for the book, which is coming out, my publisher and I came together, and the publisher asked me if I would create a course to go with the book. And it is coming out on Sacred You on October 31st. So I'm so happy about that. Okay, back to our regularly scheduled program. NASA is now a spy agency. The White House in August. Remember, put the dots together. 3i Atlas was detected on July 1st. In August, the White House quietly rebranded NASA as an intelligence and national security organization, a striking action that ties the Space Exploration Agency closer to the defense world. While NASA's basic functions are unlikely to change, the messaging shift could have cascading effects on how it interacts domestically and with US allies. The White House declined to comment on what the rebrand means for the agency. It instead pointed to a fact sheet that says NASA develops and operates advanced air and space technologies like satellite, communications, and propulsion systems that are critical for U.S. national security. NASA also declined to comment. This is an article in Politico. I will give you the article. You can read the entire article yourself if you desire. Let me get you the link. Fascinating article. But you can look it up and you can see the executive order that turned NASA into a defense spy agency. It's now in the intelligence community. NASA. Why would you need to do that? Because you think that there is a threat coming from another part of the solar system, or not another part of the solar system, outside of the solar system. Now, 3i Atlas, as we already discussed, came close enough to Mars for NASA's Mars satellite to take high resolution photos of it. We have not heard from NASA yet, although the European space stations, or it's not a space station, it's a satellite, reported that the pictures were taken. Where are they? Are they being analyzed? And conveniently, the government shut down. I don't want to say that they're connected. I don't know if they're connected. I'm asking questions. Now, Stephen Burns, here on YouTube, over on his channel, has been doing excellent reporting on 3i Atlas. I love it because he's actually a scientist and he's an astrologer. Unique combination. He did an astrological reading on 3i Atlas that I found so compelling, and I want you to look at it. I want you to watch this video. I'm going to share this video with you over on Stephen Burns' channel. I really like him. He broke down, not him, of course, he talked about the science of it in the beginning, because this is what Stephen Burns looks like. He is a scientist, not an astrologer, first and foremost. Then once he told you the science of it, he did a reading of where 3i Atlas will be on October 29th when it achieves perihelion, the closest approach to the sun. And he found a grand cross in there. And he also found a triangle. Look at the triangle right there. and a Grand Cross on that day, on October 29th. So I'm going to drop a link to this chat to this video because this video is fascinating, because I love people that take a multidisciplinary approach, that we've got to look at this thing from the spiritual aspect, astrological aspect, scientific aspect, energetic aspect. Our whole universe is energetic. We've got to look at this thing from multiple perspectives. We cannot be locked into one perspective of looking at this thing because we don't know what the thing is. Lastly, I'm going to leave you with a couple of quotes. Let's go on back on screen share again. I'm going to leave you with a couple of quotes. And my conclusion is this: watch 3i Atlas carefully, especially on these dates. In October 29, when it comes closest to the sun, let's see what it does. And then through the month of November, let's see if it continues on out of here on its trajectory. We don't know what it did while it was here. If we don't know what it is, we certainly don't know what it's doing. We don't know what it is. We don't know what it's doing. I say keep watching it. And this is what my mama said, who now is residing in the realm of the ancestors. She said everything comes out in the wash. That's what she used to tell us, the four of us, when we were growing up. And we were trying to lie about who broke this or who did that or why we did this or why we did that. We were trying to lie. She would look at us and say, everything comes, the truth always comes out in the wash. Everything comes out in the wash. So she would look at us like, I'm going to get to the truth one way or the other. Thank you, Mom. And then the final quote that I'm going to leave you is from Abraham Loeb, also known as Avi Loeb. And Avi Loeb has a YouTube channel as well. Oh, does he have a YouTube channel? Actually, I don't know if he has a YouTube channel. I believe he does have a YouTube channel. Look him up. Avi Loeb says this: the scientific method is not about censoring questions, because everybody is up in arms. Well, the scientific community is up in arms about Avi Loeb saying that it could possibly be something of intelligence. They're up in arms about him saying that because they all want to say it's a comet. And he said the scientific method is not about censoring questions. It's about using data and evidence to answer them. That's the scientific method. Instead, you see people guessing the answer is a comet, or assuming that it represents past knowledge. That's a blind spot for us, traditional thinking. Oh, it's something that I already saw before. No, it's something new. And they're hostile. This is the part that's concerning. They're hostile to any possibility that it might deviate from the beaten path, that this is a new type of object. I find that counterproductive. He is absolutely right that they are hostile to the idea that it could be intelligence. No, they are hostile to the idea that it could be something outside of what we ourselves know. And why would we be hostile to that? Why would not all of these theories be on the table until we can rule them out when we're looking at something that we don't know what it is? Now, I can understand if people know it's a comet and it acts like a comet and it looks like a comet and it quacks like a duck, it is a duck. We don't know what it is. So because we don't know what it is, why would they jump all over this man? And this man is like holding the flag up. He's like, I don't care what they say, because it could be intelligent. And if it is intelligent, we ought to do something about that, which seems very reasonable. However, they are trying to vilify this man. But you know why they can't not cancel him? You know why they can't cancel him? I'll tell you why they cannot cancel Avi Loeb. Let me come off screen share. They cannot cancel Avi Loeb because he is a Harvard physicist. He's director of science. He's James Baird Director of Science, professor of science at Harvard University. Like, he's a director of like the whole physics department. This man is super smart. They can't cancel him because he's too smart for them. But they're trying. This is how far these evil people would go to keep their worldview intact and keep you out of true gnosis knowledge, as Neil says, right, over on the Gnostic Informant channel, to keep you dumbed down and not knowing what's really going on when we know that it's not a comet. This is not like any comet we've ever seen before. So it's okay to say it's not a comet, and for the powers that be, the government or whomever, when the amateur telescopers or amateur astronomers are seeing it and they're relaying it, it's not like we can't all look up and see what's in the sky, but they still want to gaslight you and tell you you're not seeing what you're seeing. But there's no tail. Matter of fact, it got an anti-tail. It's pointing something to the sun. What? I'm not here to tell you what to think. I'm here to tell you what's going on with me. I'm here to report my findings, and I know that you are intelligent enough to come to your own conclusions. I say, watch how this thing unfolds over the next several months, because I'm going to be watching. I got my eye on you, NASA. I'm going to be sleeping like this. Yeah, I'm going to go to bed at night. I'm going to be like this. Is that you, 3-Eye Atlas? While we were behind the sun, did you change? Did you turn around? Girl, man, I'm gonna be looking at that thing on October 29th. I'm gonna wake up. Did you come back around the sun, 3-Eye Atlas? Are you coming this way? You're not gonna catch this switch by surprise. I'm gonna be ready. I don't know what I'm gonna do about it, but I'm gonna know it's coming. Okay, and then let me just position myself over somewhere in Bali or somewhere. I'm in Malaysia right now. Let me get on over to Bali somewhere and get in a temple, and then hey, it's time for my next incarnation. That's all. It was a matter of time. We had a good run on planet Earth. We've been here about how many years have humans been on planet Earth? About 1 million years. It was a good run. We can't be here forever. Time to go on into your next life. I'm kidding, family. I'm kidding. I'm not a doomsday prophet. I grew up in a doomsday cult. I left that. Let me see what y'all said in the comments. The government knows its intelligence. That's why the government shut down. Hello, somebody. We're just observing. Valerie, pick up your spaceship. Love you, neutrino waves. Trust me. If I had a bunker, I would invite all of y'all into it. Well, not everybody that's in the comments, because some people, when you read my comments, they get to the door of the bunker. I'd be like, no, you can't come into this bunker. This bunker is peace and oneness. We're going to put an infinity symbol on the bunker, and y'all are all welcome to come into my bunker. Baby, I ain't got no bunker. I'm just making it up. Our path around the sun will meet them if they are stationed. We'll meet them. Oh, we might meet them. Okay, gotcha. Okay, T.I. Hammer. T. Hammer sounds like he's scared. Don't be scared. Don't be scared. Come on, truth. All right, family. I love you. And let's just be open. Let's learn. Let's grow. Let's be in oneness. Let's be in peace. Let's be in higher intelligence. I like something Avi Loeb said. He said, it's not that we need to be concerned about extraterrestrial intelligence. We need to be concerned about terrestrial stupidity. And I agree with that. We don't need to be worried about terrestrial intelligence when we got all this terrestrial stupidity. Okay. I love you.